This is an example of a day of scheduled flight. One of the examples that we might use something like this is for when we have a SARS flight that we need to schedule quickly, and it's going to be obviously for the day of. So we're still using the scheduling tool. It's very similar to how we already schedule. However, we just change the date. So we would go to schedule passengers and cargo, and this would be the offshore user doing this. He would click quick schedule, select the flight date as today. Today's the 8th. Schedule name, we call it SARS flight or something identifiable. Leaving Homa, departing Homa, I'm sorry, being controlled by Homa and departing Homa and going to wherever an emergency is, let's say the Stampede. So there's no outbound passengers, obviously, but there are some inbound. So we click inbound and we look up the individual that needs to be added. So we'll just add Carson. Click Carson, add one passenger. Put in a code of SARS flight or whatever the code is, any weights we have on the guy, and save. Now again, this is still what the offshore user would be doing, which is still exactly what he's doing now. He just has a time of today and not a time in the future. Now with this done, we move on to the second phase of the scheduling service, which is the doc's responsibility of scheduling flights. They click scheduled flights. New flight, the flight's today, flight designation is SARS flight, the heliport is Homa, the aircraft is whatever it is, the contract is whatever it is, pilots and co-pilots. We hit create flight, we hit add flight legs. There's the schedule that was made for today with the one inbound guy down here. There he is, SARS flight. Add to flight. We let the flight update itself to actually give our routing. Home to Stampede, Stampede back to home with 1, total weight of 221. Now, in a regular scheduling environment where we're scheduling for the future, when we click finish, it will bring us back to the scheduled flight page and show us the future flights. But since it's a day of flight, when we click the finish button here, it will send it to the heliport immediately. So please be sure that this is what you need to send to the heliport. If you need to change something or if you need to go out, simply just click outside of the schedule window, go back to scheduling, or you can use these 3 phases up here. The flight will still be there. It hasn't been sent yet. The trigger is that finish button. So make sure that you click that when you're done. Now, when you click it, just hit finish here. It's going to bring you back to the scheduling flights page, but you'll notice the SARS flight is gone. That's because if we go to flights, it has been made real. It is a real flight. This is at the heliport right now. If we go to passengers and inbound, there's the inbound guy that we're going to go pick up. So we've built a flight that's happening today, and we can do this for the heliport. And now the heliport already has this flight and this information. All they have to do is print it and hand it to the pilot, and he's gone. The other option is, if the aircraft has left already and we have not given him a manifest, when he lands at the location offshore, the location offshore can go to flights, click the flight that they want, which would be the SARS flight, and hit download printout. By doing this, it will give them a printable Excel version of the manifest that the pilot can use. And basically, it'll look like this. It gives the overview of the entirety of the flight and the individual legs. So we probably only care about the leg that actually has a passenger on it, which will be leg number 2, and we can print this. So, say there's an emergency, the call goes out, the helicopter takes off, it's en route to where it's picking the guy up. The clerk offshore can build his schedule, the clerk at the dock can build the flight, assign the passengers, turn it real, and then the clerk offshore can print this and hand it to the pilot. The other option would be they could print it at the heliport and give it to the pilot before he takes off, but that might not be an option. So there are 2 ways to get this information to the pilot easily, either on his departure or when he arrives at the heliport for his flight back.